Ever since I was little, I loved school. I never wanted to miss a day of it. I was in class and the vice principal came and got me out of class, and he started asking me some things, like questions about pills and some other contraband. And I told him, no, I don't know what that is, where it came from, and I haven't seen it. And he asked me if he could search my backpack. I told him, yeah, go ahead. So he brought the secretary in, and then he asked me to follow her. We ended up in the nurse's office, and then she asked me to take off my pants and my shirt. And when I did that, I gave it to them, and I stood there in my underwear while they were searching in the seams and shaking, just looking for something. I looked down. I didn't want to look at their faces, and I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to add the extra embarrassment onto it.
This traumatizing search of Savana, done for no good reason, yielded absolutely nothing. And when it turned up nothing, well, there was no apology, there was no explanation. She was just told to go sit in the hallway for hours at a time until the school day ended, and she was sent home.
When Savana came out, she was very, very withdrawn. She got in the vehicle not wanting to look at me, crying. When I got home, I was so upset. I still called the school. No one returned my calls. So I called the sheriff's department.
Savana was searched on the say-so of really just another student, a student who was herself in trouble. She had been found that day to have pills on her. And in order to shift the blame, she said, well, Savana gave me the pills. Now that wasn't true, but that was enough for the vice principal to go ahead and order that Savana be strip searched. That violates any normal sense of what ought to happen under the Constitution.
When I was a kid and they asked me to do this, I didn't know that, that it was wrong. I didn't know that I could say no. Even police have to have a warrant in order to perform any kind of search like that. So why do schools just get to do it at the slightest whim?
I would like for every parent in the United States to understand the authority that we've given to schools. I feel that from what I experienced with my daughter, that they can pretty much do whatever they like because they're acting in your behalf.
Back in 1985, the Supreme Court decided a case called TLO that dealt with the search of a student's purse. And that set the standard for ordinary searches, backpacks, lunchboxes, that sort of thing. This case deals with the much more intrusive search, a strip search. And that will, in turn, set a standard, I think, for the next generation of how much leeway school authorities have to perform this sort of search. And perhaps by broader implication, what kind of authority, power the government has to search any of us.
It's about me to a certain extent. What they did was wrong, and they feel like they didn't do anything wrong, and that really hurts. But it's more about other kids. I guess what really motivates me, though, is just that I really don't want this to happen again, ever.